Today I'm here to inform you that irishwebtv.com are covering the next Yellow Vest demonstration that will take place this Saturday, 2 o'clock, Custom House Quay. You will be able to see that on dublincitytv.com. And with me now to tell us all about the Yellow Vests and the demonstration is Ben Gilroy. Good afternoon, Ben.
Good afternoon, Anya. Good to see you at last.
Great stuff, yes. I've seen a lot about you in the news. You are one hell of a busy guy.
I know.
You're saving the country.
I don't know, but I find myself coming in.
Yeah. So, Ben, the Yellow Vest, that movement in France has just taken precedent. It has brought people power to a step further. And I know maybe at the moment it is losing its media coverage, possibly by design, but it has sparked off something which is at the heart of every country and will be at the heart of every person in the country. It's going to happen now in Ireland.
Yeah, it's happening now in Ireland, and obviously we want to grow it. The ordinary man right across Europe, and now even in the United States, I see it taking off as well, is disgruntled with this global corporate takeover. And it doesn't matter what you petition the government to do, it doesn't matter who you vote in or vote out. It has been the same way now for the last 30 years. There's this global push towards a one world government, and it's to screw the ordinary man, and he takes home less money. And unfortunately, they've done it now so much that people are rising up, and it's happening now right across Europe.
It's happened in France, a great example for the other people that are thinking of doing this. We have seen a good example of people power here already in Ireland, where people fought against the water rates, yes, or the water charges, and people power did win the day. Now, to keep that momentum going, what do you hope to achieve by the Yellow Vests? Are you copying the template of the French Yellow Vest? Are you going by ear? What is happening?
Well, you see, what the Yellow Vests in France and a number of other places really want is citizens-initiated referendum, because they feel that's the only way you can hold government to account. It's the only way you can stop certain legislation coming in and overturn it. And also you can remove dud politicians, which is always a good idea as well. That
is one of your 15 demands.
It is, yeah.
And also another, you mentioned demand number one, and also one other of your demands as well is to remove corrupt Gardaí, civil servants and judges.
Yes.
You have made, maybe perhaps we'll talk about this. Do you want to speak about your 15 demands? I just find one of them a bit weird, like abolishing the TV licence. I'm wondering, well, how will poor RTE work without a TV licence? But anyway, you have made 15 demands.
Yeah. Well, we've made 15 demands. To be honest, though, if we get the citizens-initiated referendum,
that's number one.
That actually takes care of everything else in any event. And you remember, unlike the French or any of the other countries that are now protesting, we actually had that in our first two constitutions, and they removed it out of the last constitution, because they seen that as a blockage, if you like, to the global dominance of corporate interference.
Or a loss of power, perhaps?
It's absolute loss of power, because they can do whatever they want now. And we've seen it so many times that I remember even Enda Kenny saying he had a contract with the people. You know, he did this on the Late Late Show. That didn't last long. And I'm sure there's people going into politics with good intentions, but somebody gets to them. And because you can't go in with good intentions, promising the sun, moon and stars, and then renege on everything, and then hit you even harder when you're looking for votes, that doesn't seem like the natural thing. So somebody has these guys in their pocket, and it's in every country. So we know it's on a global basis. So we know the powers that be, I hate that term, but we know these gangsters. Most people know who they are. They're certain families and everything, and they have taken over basically every government. There's no such thing as a government anymore in the world, really, as we would know them. They're all
but of course, people listening to you would say, "Oh, come on, that's some of the conspiracy theory stuff again."
That's what they've been saying. The fact is have corporate global agenda interests been taken over the world? It's either yes or no. I mean, if it's a conspiracy theorist, well, why is everybody, seeing this? And, if you look at George Soros coming in here and piling his money into certain referendums and all, why are these people interfering in Ireland? And if it's not a global takeover, why are vulture funds here taking properties left, right and centre?
And we saw a very good example of that in Roscommon.
And 5 were bankers bailed out when they were gambling on a stock exchange to the tune of billions that has put the country where it is now, really, if you like, because people are dying on trolleys, children going to school hungry, the country's in a mess, it's corrupt from top to bottom in every sort of state body, if you like.
What would you put at the top of the worst disasters in the country at the moment? Would you put housing as the worst one?
I would actually put probably suicide, because housing, okay, you know, it's definitely up there, as is dying on a trolley. I mean, like, if you look at your parents who worked hard all their life for this country and they're left on a trolley to die, you know, with no provisions for them. You look at the mentally ill, you look at people suffering from all types, children suffering from all types of illnesses and no proper services.
Modern day
So
stress,
you just wouldn't,
yeah.
it's just right, it's so epidemic, it's right across the board, so you couldn't say which is the worst. I mean, you know, they're all so bad, that's why people are standing up. If it was just this one thing, you could say, well, maybe, you know, people wouldn't stand up for that. But because it's right across the board and affects every facet of our life.
Okay, so to get back to the broad meaningless things that we're discussing here, the yellow vest and the demonstration, which we will talk about later. What do you envisage, what do you hope the yellow vest movement will do? You threw out 15 demands, okay? Yeah. And I'm just thinking to myself, my goodness, if you got number one demand, you'd be doing good.
Yeah.
So maybe you're throwing out 15 hoping you get one or two. What is the idea? What actually and realistically do you hope to achieve with the yellow vest movement?
What we hope to achieve is to wake up the people of Ireland to say, look, you're being screwed. You're being taxed to the hilt. Wherever you go, there's somebody's hand is in your pocket, whether it's down the road at the toll bridge, whether it's, you know, buying a bottle of milk, while it's buying clothes, while it's doing this. You're just taxed to the hilt, to the hilt. If you have a pension, that's taxed. If you got inheritance, that's taxed. Whatever it is, you know.
Some would say c'est la vie.
Well, c'est la vie, as the French say.
I know, but that's not to use the pun, but like, that's life, we pay taxes.
Yeah, no, that's right, but there has never been so much taxes as there is today. I mean, you know, you got to remember back in the 60s and 70s, one man working could feed his family and pay a mortgage and go on a holiday. Can't do that now.
No.
I mean,
and as we've discussed before, and we've both, and you and I have both said before, we're not one wage pack away from disaster.
That's
any
right.
of us.
Yeah,
you know, if you don't get your next wage
packets away from being in the repossession court.
Absolutely, that is scary. So that is what the yellow vests would like to do, would achieve basically.
Well, what we're saying is we're quite a wealthy country here. We're very rich in natural resources.
Is maybe that's just on paper
and everything else, and we want, you know, like a share the wealth, if you like. There's 3% very happy in the world, in this country, very happy. It works for them. But for the other 97%, it doesn't work for them. And they are the ones who work hard, you know, are dragged out on the streets, taxed to the hilt, while you have the likes of these big corporate people like Apple, supposed to be paying 14 billion.
So the
and
yellow
another
vest
corporation called the government is fighting that back.
So yellow vest wants to make people aware of what is going on.
Aware and to make changes.
And to make changes.
Yes.
First of all, the demonstrations will hope to make people aware and make the change, because if government stands back and saying, yes, more people power coming down the road here, we have to do something. Do you think that will happen?
Well, I think it will, because you know, statespeople are more interested in the welfare of the people, where politicians are only interested in votes. And so I think if you make it real difficult and a people power movement, there's no votes in going against the people. And once you get in citizens initiated referendum, which they're trying to do in a lot of the countries now, even America, and they do have it in some parts of America, that is true democracy. That is where a politician comes to you and says, we'll do this, we'll do that. Then if he doesn't do it, you can recall him, you can sack him, or you can bring a referendum and make him do it. So, and all it is that the people have the right of referendum. That's all. And it was in our first two constitutions, was taken out, needs to be put back in. And then you wouldn't have the nonsense that we have, because the bank bailout would have never happened, which would have been a good thing, because I warned at the time that it would lead to this sort of country and disaster that we have now. And the country is shambolic. It's absolutely a shambles, and it needs to be stopped before Ireland is gone completely.
OK, so let's get to the parade. The parade is 2:00, Custom House Quay in Dublin. And you might give your piece to the camera now. And of course, Irish Web TV will be filming that. We'll be there on the day, and you will be able to log on afterwards to see it on dublincitytv.com. Ben, I can give you the camera now for 30 seconds, and you can say your piece to camera there. If you want to get people to come out and make a difference on the day, go ahead.
Folks, in Ireland we've been downtrodden for too long. You know, people were always waiting for the Irish to rise up. But this is a European movement now, where our friends right across Europe have taken to the streets and have said no more. Remember, we're taxed more than them. Housing in Dublin is more expensive than the Champs-Élysées. So we are, you know, saying to Irish people, stand up. It's for you, it's for your family, it's for your children, it's for your future. And you have to tell these global corporate interests that the Irish people will not take this for any more. So I would like to see a huge crowd out this Saturday and every Saturday, and then of course we may change a date when it actually hits harder, you know, when the Dáil is back and running. But please come and support, and we hope to see you on Saturday.
Thank you, Ben Gilroy. And that's it, folks. On Saturday, after the parade, after the demonstration, you will be able to log on to Dublin City TV and see the events of the day. Thank you for watching irishwebtv.com.